Okay. So literally, I found your Instagram. On
Yeah,
Instagram, yes. And I was searching for looking for a relaxing, brand new experience. First time here in Barbados.
yeah.
So I look out for, something different like pottery, so much as a clay. Then I saw that there's retreat. And I want you to, to my subscribers explain a little bit about your project, when you started, so they get to know you.
Well, so for me, I'm the son of two potters. So I've been around clay from birth. So like just playing with mud, like how you're not supposed to as a kid, that's something that I grew up being allowed to do. But my parents never like pushed me into working with clay. I never had to. And that's something that I kind of felt that I enjoyed. Like they gave me the freedom to come and experiment with it if I wanted to. Yeah. And as I got older, I did got good at it, and I kind of ran away to England for 17 years. So managed to start my company in England, managed to do quite well, and everyone was kind of disappointed when I left because I had so many like younger people that also had joined like the membership, and they were starting to progress as well. So I felt kind of sad to kind of leave them all alone, but I had to fulfill my own journey and dream now. But as a ceramic artist myself, I'm like, what we're doing today is hand building. I don't just hand build, I tend to use the wheel a lot. So you see pieces like this here, like throwing on the potter's wheel. So depending, if you guys make quite fast today, I might give you a demo on the wheel and you get to see how I make something like this. Probably not this big, but saying like this here. But that's what I kind of enjoy making a bit more, like pieces, and they usually have a story to it. I wouldn't just create something that's made. I'll probably think of a concept probably for a long time, a bit too long at times, and then I gradually start to make and test. So for this one, for example, this is a glaze that my father made. And I don't know if you know, there was this volcano that had erupted in St. Vincent in 2021. So it's actually called the La Sulphur volcano, right? This is made from the ash from it. So the ash had covered Barbados, like thick layers of the ash. He collected a lot of that ash, created this glaze, and the majority of material in it is that ash. And it's like a one of a kind. So once this here runs out, like the ash runs out, we will never have this glaze again. So that was one of the specialties between me and my father that we do. We kind of creating glazes and textures that are slightly different from the normal pieces. And I often want people to touch the work. This is why you see a lot of my stuff was textured. And it makes you, everyone say, don't touch ceramic. I want you to touch it, so you can touch it.
How long it takes for you to do like
The whole process, you mean on the wheel, the throwing?
Yeah.
One of these, say, I think probably take me about, it could be 5 minutes, could be 15 minutes.
Really?
All depends. But ideally, like a bowl should take me about 2 or 3 minutes. If I take more than that, it's probably not as profitable, Yeah. But this particular collection is actually based on the East Coast. So this was one that was launched. Thank you. We launched this in about 2024 back in London. So the only place in London that you could buy this is the National Portrait Gallery. And we made about 20 or 40 of these here. Each one is based on some kind of color that you're going to find on this area. And I didn't know I was going to move back here and be in this area, so it just worked out perfectly. That I grew up always seeing this area and like falling in love with it. Now my biggest collection that I dropped that this successful is based on here. And it only makes sense now I'm right here working too, Good.
And since when you came out with this name, Motions of Clay?
So the funny thing is like when I started the business around 2013, I had like 3 names. And this was one that my father actually chose. But it just sounded good to me. That's the only reason why. Yep. But it makes sense because I think I probably had like an undiagnosed ADHD or something because I was just always moving, and it makes sense. And now I got a bit of motion as well, so yeah.
So the clients that you normally receive here, where do they come from?
It's funny, when I first started coming back on holiday in like 2022, I would always come back and I would say I'm doing 3 days of workshops. And mainly tourists would book. And then the next year after, like the locals started to complain, saying that they're not really getting on to the classes. So I would announce that I'm going to do classes people will book before I even land in the country. So the classes will sometimes fill up before I get here. But it's a mixture. You get some locals, some tourists as well. So I find like I'm kind of causing them to mingle and mix
Yeah,
together.
that's the thing.
But then some events that I do and some locations I do, I'm finding I might get more tourists or more locals as well. You never know. Yeah.
That's great.
So at the moment I go around, I teach. Here is the main place. Teach at Heyman's Market. I teach at Peg Farmhouse. And a few other places, and at a Piece of Life as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then private classes. I'm going to Sandals next week to do a class. A couple other villas and stuff. Yeah.
Great. So you're planning expanding yourself,
I'm trying not to. I've got a studio I'm just opening in not too far from here. So at the moment I'm doing all the building works, electricians and plumbing and stuff. But that's going to be my personal space to work. So I don't do too much classes. But in London, I had the studio. It was like 3 rooms, and it was a room for the wheel, where people could throw, and then a room for hand building, then a small room for the kiln. And we had members, so then other professionals would come and rent the space, just use it like for the whole day as their own. In the evening, I done 6-week courses. Then on the weekends, we done like the sip and pot events with like the DJ or regular classes with groups. So the studio was open nearly every day, and it was very busy. And I taught at college as well too over there. So I was extremely busy out there. That kind of was a little bit exhausting. So I'm trying not to do too much teaching out here. This is why I keep having to disappoint people and say no to classes, because I'm trying to structure my time more to enjoy it and to make more. That's my aim now, to make more, you know?
Yeah, but now I have the last question. But it's more technical, Because when you think in pottery, the first thing you think is like doing the wheel.
Yeah.
So at what point you start using the wheel itself?
From as young as I can remember, like as I said, like, I should just come into my father's workshop, see the employees. Like one particular employee used to be on the wheel a lot. I would just sit and watch him after school. Then as soon as he's done, I would just go on the wheel and try and make. So from very young, man.
Yeah, but a brand new person like me, like a new student,
How
what
long
point can you just start doing it?
Some with a teacher like me, then you might get it within a couple months, like the basics. But I think 2 years of doing it at least quite often is when you could consider. Most people get good at that time, but everyone's different. I have students that have been with me for like a year, then students that will come in for 2 months, and in 2 months, the person might surpass the person doing it for like a whole year. You know, so everybody's different. What I say, like people get frustrated, by embracing the art of letting go and just understanding you're here to learn and not just to make a finished piece, that helps. I think when people get frustrated when they want to make something like this, and they still at stage to make something like this, so then they set a goal to do this, and they get disappointed, and they kind of get discouraged, and you know, I see that a lot.
With that, what's been the funniest shape they have given here?
Who, me?
No, I mean like the new people.
Everything and anything possible, man. People do like the craziest stuff. Yeah. But it's nice. It just means that you're free. Like, I just let everyone to just enjoy whatever that they do, you know? So sometimes I might see a piece, I'll be like, yeah, this is lovely. No, I'm joking. Hopefully that don't happen today, right?
Yeah, that's it. You see, it was easy.
Yeah, but doing this here though, besides the wheel, because you don't have to fire it, you could experiment a bit more. With the wheel now, you're kind of restricted to what you could do and trap in air and it could explode and stuff. Because you're not firing, you kind of escape all of that side. So you guys have a bit more freedom with this here. I did it.